Aaron Rodgers is getting added to the 53-man roster, even though he's not going to play again this season. The Jets had to make room for him on the roster, and in doing so had to cut Nick Bawden, and this has created some controversy. Jets, Jets! Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, we're going to talk about a story that I didn't really think was a story, but I guess it's going to be a little bit of a story because fans are feeling a little bit of a way about this, and the Jets are releasing Nick Bawden to make room for Aaron Rodgers to be the fourth quarterback on our roster, even though he has said he's not going to play again this season. And it's got people feeling a little bit of a way. Although, admittedly, I think it's a little bit more of other teams feeling a little bit of a way. Like, wow, the Jets are getting rid of one player to make way for a fourth quarterback. And then on face value, that's definitely concerning. And the tweet that really sort of set it all off was Rich Cimini saying, Bawden is one of 5 players on the New York Jets that are in their top 10 in voting in their respective positions for the NFL Pro Bowl. And that sounds pretty damning until you realize that there are literally 10 fullbacks in the entire league on a team right now. Like, use such a bait and switch kind of fucking tweet right there, because of course he's in the top 10. When you're top 10 of 10, so dumb. When you can move off of a fullback because you know 22 other teams are not going to be jockeying to get him on their team, it is a safe move to make all the time. Heck, Bawden was cut back in August to make room for Dwayne Brown to get on the active roster, so that way we wouldn't have to, maybe IR him. I think it was Dwayne Brown. Maybe I'm getting my player mixed up, but he was cut in August in order to make way for someone to clear onto the 53-man roster. Not to mention, the dude's played double-digit sacks in like 3 games this season. So to think that the fullback is really the big issue here is not the move that I think people are should be concerned with in any capacity. And honestly, I'd rather have Ruckert be that kind of H-back, fullback type role. He's good at blocking. He's way more of a dynamic weapon on the outside, and it saves you a roster spot to begin with. Like, Nick Bawden, regardless of how you feel about him as a football player, the fact that he's getting so little snaps and eating up a roster spot is just sort of questioning in and of itself from a roster management sort of perspective, because it doesn't feel like we're utilizing him in any kind of meaningful capacity. But it brings up the conversation about Aaron Rodgers, and are the Jets bending over a little bit for him? Or like, is he just looking for attention? A lot of fans are kind of rubbed the wrong way with the whole Pat McAfee Tuesday quarterback show because, why is he on TV all the time if he's not even playing and he's just getting, all that extra attention? And look, it sells. The dude's a 4-time MVP quarterback. People want to hear what he has to say. It's a reason why Pat McAfee was able to strike the deal with ESPN and have such a monster contract in the first place, or at least in part because of it. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't really care that the Jets are carrying 4 quarterbacks right now. I would imagine one is going to be cut, whether that be Simeon or Rippon, whatever you want to do, because I think Zach is probably going to be inactive for this week. And I don't think anyone is hoping that Aaron Rodgers is going to be quarterback 3, the emergency quarterback, right now. That seems like a poor move, and you're not going to, cut anyone else at this particular point in time because Simeon is likely going to be starting. At least I think so. From what I've been looking at, I don't think Zach is out of concussion protocol yet. And you just brought in Brett Rippon. So you could cut Rippon if you want, but then you're going to be leaning on Aaron Rodgers as your backup quarterback for this week. So, of course, the Jets are going to carry 4 quarterbacks for this week because they want to look, they do want to have Rodgers get on the roster because it's our fault. I shouldn't say our fault. It's the team's fault that they are not in position to be in a position to have Rodgers go out on the field and try to win a playoff game or try to get us into the playoffs. If he did everything he needed to do to come back and be healthy and at least play if called upon, I think it's worth it for us to at least give him the roster spot from I don't want to say a moral standpoint, but from hey, thanks for doing everything you did as far as getting back and healthy. We just couldn't carry our water to get to that point. And, maybe there's a little bit of bending the rules or maybe changing how you would do things because it is Aaron Rodgers as opposed to, some other player that you may have been more deserving of a spot. But I think from a strategic standpoint, because Zach Wilson is in the concussion protocol, you have to have a third quarterback on the roster. And if you have to activate someone, activating the guy that you wanted to be your starter anyway at the beginning of the season, so he could be around the team and be, training and everything. If he gets IR'd, Aaron Rodgers, I don't know how much he's going to be allowed to be around the team all the time. And I feel like having him on the sideline and being able to talk to all the players and be able to go through all the workouts and be in all the meetings, that's more important to the camaraderie of this team and to the stability of this locker room than Nick Bawden and his double-digit double-digit snaps in 3 games this season. So I think other fan bases are just getting a little fired up about this. Look, is Aaron Rodgers a diva? Sure he is. He's a 4-time MVP quarterback. He's going to want to have the limelight on him. There's a reason he came to New York, right? Like there's a certain type of personality you need to have to come to New York. If you're afraid of the big lights or you don't want the big lights on you all the time, don't come to New York. If you're complaining that the big lights are shining on the brightest position and the most important player on our roster for at least the next year or two, I don't know what to tell you. People just got to stop getting upset about everything. I think Aaron Rodgers being added to the 53-man roster makes all the sense in the world. I think Nick Bawden being cut doesn't matter whatsoever because he's going to get added to the practice squad like he was added to the practice squad after the August cut back in training camp. So guys, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Do you feel like the Jets should be moving on from any players, even though Aaron Rodgers is not going to be playing another game this year? Are you upset they cut Nick Bawden? Do you wish they would use him more? Why is this even an issue? This is so stupid. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets. Jets!